Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So, guys, I want to talk about Mike Beasley on tonight. And I think Mike Beasley, his second chance at basketball, him winning $1 million in the Big Three. I think Michael Beasley is going closer to his calling. I think not only showing that you can play in 2025, there's avenues outside of the NBA where you can be recognized for your talents on a national level, but also I think he is going to be an instrument to talk to people, up and coming athletes. As much as we see the LeBron Jameses, D Wade, all those people, Carmelo Anthony, everybody who's made a fortune in basketball and just building to their empires, whether they're late in their careers, obviously like LeBron, he's the only one still playing, but Melo, Wade going on the podcast and ownership of a lot of things. We also need the tale of people who could have been there, but it went the other way. You need to hear that side of it too. I remember just a few years ago, Beasley was on the Pivot podcast and he was in tears, man. 2022, we didn't know. He still wanted to get in the NBA. I think he had played in China and other places, but at one point he was sleeping in his car in 2021. We're going to look back at that because today he says something that all young hoopers need to hear. He was talking about the advice he got from Pat Riley. Let's look back at where Michael Beasley has come from because I think, his testimony is a powerful one. Let's peep it.
That have come from our demographic and our background. They really, they fight and they bust
But
their ass.
everybody just sit there and laugh. Like Antoine Walker will go through whatever he go through. Motherfuckers just sit there and make jokes. Allen Iverson was a fucking joke for a while until everybody found out that wasn't true. He turned. It's like, bro, no, bro. Being black is so fake right now. It's like motherfuckers only care when it's time for somebody to die and the cameras to show. It's like, bro, motherfuckers is out here showing every day that they need help. It's in the music, and we only listen to it till these die. It's like, bro, everybody out here need help, and everybody walking around this motherfucker like they got it all together.
I'll be the first to tell you,
Everybody walking, and then the second time, like, bro, Dwight Howard cried on TV, right? They called the nigga soft. What the he was going through on the inside, he had to hold on to where he cried in front of 20 million people. How about somebody ask that question? You dig what I'm saying?
You're right.
It's just so much that motherfuckers go through, and it's like, bro, they like niggas, it's on front street. It's just like until a motherfucker break down or die, it's like, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. And
Mike, you're walking.
So like, I was sleeping in my car from 21, I want to say. So like 22, early 23, for like 3 years. 2 years. Like, thugging it, like really thugging it. So like.
Wow, man. So that means during that Pivot interview in 2022, Mike Beasley was sleeping in his car then. They just didn't know it, but he was sleeping in his car. That's why the pain came out in the interview. Obviously, he didn't say that he was homeless right then, but it was the pain from that. All those emotions was there, and it makes sense, and I love to see stuff like that go viral because that is real. That's real things that people are dealing with. Now, we're going to get into the part where Pat Riley tried to give him some advice early in his career. And this is one thing he says he regrets because it would have been some sound advice that could have kept him away from some of the pitfalls, so let's peep that.
If I did it all over again, I would have listened to Pat Riley. Pat Riley told me to get a condo, get 2 bedrooms, one for my mom when she come in town, and everybody else figure it out. I went the polar opposite, and my excuse to him was like, yo, I grew up in an apartment, like I need some space, so I got a 6-bedroom house, got 3 dogs, had 3-4 of my niggas staying in, and then that's where all the problems came from, like, and it made sense to me because it's like these is real life problems. Like I was bailing people out of jail. I was getting lawyers. Like my uncle was fighting a RICO. My godfather was, they all got 9, 10 years, 30. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like I was really like dealing with problems, but looking back on it, it's like my daughter's 16 right now. She's getting all kind of NIL. She's NIL. She's about to be. If she's not going to be one of the players that get drafted, she's going to be a person that makes a lot of money in her life, her career. I will never look at her and say, "You're 19. You need to take care of me or pay for my lawyer or anything like that." You understand? So, I think I just wish I had the confidence to tell everybody no. Just let me get to my second contract first. Let me, you understand? And
that's powerful right there, Bees. Let me get to my second contract first. Don't feel like a failure though, brother, because you have the insight, you have this story, and even watching you podcasting. You were on a podcast a few years ago crying. Now you are hosting a podcast for the Big 3 League. So think about why, like, your voice is pivotal, not just your talent, but they saw something in you where you were going to be the face of their podcast. Several clips have gone viral. I know they showing the Kodak Black, Kendrick. What do you think about that? All stuff that don't really matter. What really matters is really his lived experience and how it can help these up and coming hoopers. Let's continue.
Would have been my ups. Yeah. Most of the people know me for was me taking the rap for other people around me and me just being a famous person. You understand? I didn't realize when everybody would tell me that, yo, I'm just doing what they doing. Yeah, but we know who you are. You understand? So if I can do it all over again, I would have just came in. I would have listened to Pat again. Lance Blanks, RP. He tried, like, I thought it was intrusive, but Lance Blanks literally came to my house. He moved me out my house and moved me into a condo right across the street from Phoenix. But then he moved somebody in there to like keep an eye on me. That's the same thing Pat did. Pat got me a condo and he kept somebody outside the front door to make sure he was clocking me. And that part made me feel like I was in a cage. You understand? So like, but at the same time, I just wish I would have listened to them because they just wanted me to lock in and just hoop. Just lock in and hoop.
Yo, I ain't gonna hold you. That last thing Mike Beasley said was really deep. And when I analyzed what was said right there, he felt like he was in a cage, felt like they had eyes and surveillance on him too much, right? I like they treat me like a show animal, just play ball for us, shut up, be quiet, don't have no fun. His older self, in his 30s, is looking at it like, wait, they was protecting me from myself and those closest to me, because they've seen this show a million times already. And Lance Blanks, for him, RIP to him, for him to move him out and across the street into a condo and then have somebody watching him, that shows care. Pat Riley, I know people hear the stories about the Heat culture and him doing it his way and everything, but on this issue right here, he was absolutely correct. You can see the train wreck coming from 50 miles away and was just giving them sound advice. And I know Beasley, obviously growing up, you feel like you made it to the NBA, you can go out and buy those things, but he was still on his rookie deal. And then ended up being in the Miami Heat Big 3 era, so he didn't become the superstar in Miami, that he once was. And, once you're traded sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, your value isn't what it was prior, and he hadn't made all-star teams and things like that, so he couldn't command like the maximum money. But yeah, man, that's really deep. And just looking at it, you want to get those things right when you're young. Like, you ain't gonna get everything right. You're gonna have some experiences, but you don't want to be down to no money like he was with just a vehicle. And that's more than what some people have, right? But falling from NBA type of earnings to not having anything, so in debt, got all these baby mamas and love the children to death, obviously. But, you have all these ways for your money to leave your bank account, but you don't have multiple incomes coming in, and they're still basing it off of you having that, and you're gonna be the odd man out, man. So shout out to them, and I think every young hooper needs to hear this, and they need to take heed to what older people are saying, not how it makes you feel. You might hate the way somebody is intruding on you. You feel like, man, they crossing their line, but after you leave, after you put on the show, or even, talk trash to look cool in front of your homeboys, think about what they really said. And does any of it resonate? Does any of it hold any validity or any weight? Sometimes it ain't even the right messenger, but listen to the message, because these type of scenarios and situations like Mike Beasley had found himself in, they don't have feelings, or they don't have picks. It could just end up being you one day. And everybody's not a Mike Beasley that has that talent to be able to catapult themselves out of it and be able to earn $1 million like they just did in the big three, and now have a podcast. It's probably going to run. I wonder how long they're going to do it, because it looks like the season is over and they're still having podcasts. And I think they should do it all the time. So Beasley, man, shout out to him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.